Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Steve from GraphicDesignerTips.com. This is Logo Design Bootcamp episode number 20, where every week I design a new fictitious logo for you to learn from as a graphic artist, and ultimately, in the end, not only will you become better at logo designing, but just graphic design concepts in general. This episode is based on the letter T. I go consecutively in every episode, so we're up to the letter T. And the logo I have designed for you today is my inspiration just came from working outside because it's been a nice warm weekend and it's spring's coming. So, all types of stuff, projects I have going on. But Torque Tools is a logo I have designed today. It's a really cool looking logo. It's so basic, but there's a lot of things that you may not know that Illustrator can do to make this logo look like it does. So let me review it real quick, and then we're going to jump into Adobe Illustrator CS6 and build it. The Torque Tools logo is a very well-balanced logo, just like I do in all my logos. It's my style. We got a couple things going on here. It's basically a two-color logo, so it's really it's a red and a black, and that's the gray comes out of the black. So this logo will look great in black and white. We have the Torque Tools in a font called Compacta, and there is no italics version of this font, so I'm going to show you how I did that in Adobe Illustrator. And the tagline at the bottom is in Helvetica Neue. So basically all I did in here was I depicted these as screws, the letters T on Torque and Tools, and had it kind of breaking through these little bars up on the top and the bottom. Kind of it balances it, and then the bars also separate it from the tagline on the bottom. I put a gradient in here and like a little shadow on here. It's a couple layers deep. You got a fill of black, then you got a white stroke, then you got a gray fill right behind it. So I'm going to show you how to do all this in Adobe Illustrator CS6, and these little tools, like the Torque Tools, are going to help you get better as a graphic designer. All right, so I'm just going to give you an idea into my mindset on how I build logos. It's a little bit, crazy stuff going on, but this is how it works for me because, I use keyboard command shortcuts, and when I have an idea, I like to copy it out of the way and then, start to mess around with that idea and then always be able to come back to my other idea. So kind of an evolution of my idea. At first, I think I was trying to depict it as like a bubble level or some kind of a strange tool, but I was also trying to stack it in that case. But, I came down here, I started messing around with color, changed it to the red that I really wanted it. I still wasn't happy over here, even though I liked the stacked look. And then we kind of ended up right over here. I was putting a lot of little minor details in here, which, they're more for the purpose of the tutorial of teaching you little things. But in the end, it's going to make the logo look more messier. So I just came down here and I finalized with this one. So let's jump into our other canvas, and this is our final logo, and this is what we're going to mirror basically as we're designing. So the first thing you want to do is come up to the type tool, and you want to click it on your keyboard and type out the word Torque Tools, TORQUETOOLZ, all in caps. Hit the escape button. It makes it a selection. Now, if you grab the corner, make sure you hold shift so this doesn't happen. All right. So it scales it up proportionally. And we're going to come into our Compacta Black BT, okay? Torque Tools. Now, something I mentioned earlier when I was going over the review on this is basically the fact that this is not an italicized font. So we're going to, make that italicized in a minute. But it's something that you can do. So, sometimes you don't have these extra versions of the fonts, but you can do little things to distort it and make it look italicized. So the next thing we're going to do is going to go to Create Outlines, Shift Command 0, or excuse me, O, and that's going to make everything into shapes now. We're going to now come here and we're going to ungroup the shapes because we're going to mess around with this letter T. And what basically we're going to do is we're going to make this T just like we did up here. So I'm going to zoom in over here a little bit. I want you to be able to see the old one. And basically all I did was I took a couple of points out of here. Number one, you're going to come to hit the plus sign on the keyboard, or you can come up here to add an anchor point tool, and you're going to add an anchor point right in the middle of this T. And now you're going to hit the minus sign on the keyboard, or come up here and go to delete anchor point. And we're just going to delete these two anchor points. and it's going to, they're basically, when you delete them, it has to obviously go to the next point, which is that center point that I just made. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing up here. I'm going to minus this one. I'm going to minus this one. Now, the fact that these are ungrouped, I can move this wherever I want. So I'm going to, I'm going to select this and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 19, 20, whatever. 1920. All right. Do like 20 clicks to the left, 20 clicks to the right. It all depends. I'm actually pretty zoomed in right now, so just kind of make your shape look like that. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. Also, you want to now come up here and you want to take this point by hitting the A button on the keyboard and hold the shift, because then you're going to have this happen, and then have it scale down to the bottom of those letters. So they're pretty much lined up. If you need to pull out a guide, you can pull your rulers, Command R, line everything up like so. All right, so the next thing, see, basically what I wanted to do, I want to make sure that this was higher than the O over here. And now we're just going to delete this T like that, and we're going to go to Option, click, Shift. We'll shift it over while holding Shift, excuse me. And now you have your word torque and tools. You know what? I'm sorry, everybody. Back up one quick second. We got to do these swirls. Now, the way you do the swirls is you're basically going to take the pen tool and you're going to one point, and as you make the second point, curve it up. We're going to put a white stroke on it and take out the fill. And we're going to, let's see, I'm going to make this stroke a little thicker. Make it 3 points, and I'm going to Option click Shift 2, 3, 4. All right, so we get a couple of these now, and now I'm going to click this because I don't want to mess around. I don't want to mess around with this shape, so I'm going to lock it. So you're going to click it and go to Command 2. Now you can't mess around with that shape. Now we're going to highlight all 4 of these. We're going to come out to Object, Path, Outline, Stroke. And now the reason we did that is because now we have shapes. We don't have strokes anymore. We have shapes. So basically, I can select, well, you got to unlock this first by going to Object, Unlock All, which I'm sorry, I did just do that. Or you could do, I think it's like Shift Command 2. And you're going to select all 4 of these, and you're going to minus the front. And now what that did was it basically cut out all those little shapes on that big shape. So if I threw a box behind here, colored it red just so you can see. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 separate shapes. That's exactly what you wanted, because that's how you want to send this stuff to printers or other people who would be designing other aspects. You want to have your logos correctly, path. I call it pathfindering it out. You want to fine tune and so it's print ready and all that. So and design friendly. So now that we have that, okay, we are going to Option, click, shift it over, just like I wanted to do before, and we're going to take this whole entire selection, and we're going to go to Command G. So now, if I move it, it's grouped. That's what Command G does. And you guys got to understand, there's a lot of people who are beginners watching this, so I do repetitively go over keyboard command shortcuts. I show everybody where the stuff is, because it doesn't matter how good you are or how long you've been doing this. You really, it's something you should be doing every time. And for the newbies, it's it's like guerrilla designing. So now that we have this whole thing grouped, what are we going to do next? The next thing we are going to do is we're going to now put the italics on it. And the way that we're going to do that was we're going to come into our effects and we're going to go to distort and free distort. Now this is only going to work if you have this all group, because if you don't have a group, it's probably going to select this first piece right here or just any random piece. But if you see the little preview window, you're going to see that this is all one word, Torque Tools. And now if you take any of these points, you can basically do whatever you want in here. So, say I did something like that and I don't like where it came out, you can hit reset and it goes back to where it was. So you're going to click this over, but as you hold shift, it's not going to distort. And same thing, kind of just eye it up. I really wish they would give you more of a preview, like you could zoom in, but they, this is how the tool's been for a bunch of versions now. So we're going to hit OK. And let's see, that looks pretty close. I mean, I built this logo. It took me about 2 hours from concept to completion. So, in a 20-minute video, this is a good enough angle. So I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. Now, if you notice one thing, check this out. If I click this, you're still going to see the guides. It's basically showing the letters with an effect on it. And we don't want that. We want to expand this so these letters are actually letters. The paths are in the shape of the letters. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to click on the entire selection, go to Object, Expand Appearance, and now, if you look, we're able to select every single point and do whatever we want with them. If I back up a second, if I want to get this R, this right here, I'm going to have to select the point of the R right here and watch what happens as I go like that. I mean, you can mess around and make some cool things like this, but it's going to give your life a little bit of hell. So, like I said, Object, Expand Appearance, and now, grab that R, it's right there. Cool. All right, so the very next thing we're going to do is we are going to make this shadow behind it. And every logo I pretty much build, I do a lot of the same things. Kind of just, it's my style. And basically, what I like to do is, I know in the appearance palette, you can do your strokes and then you can do another stroke, and that's great. But sometimes, I want to shift a certain layer a certain way, and I don't believe I can get that with the appearance, and it's just, this is the way I like doing it. So basically what we're going to do here is we're going to copy this selection, and we're going to hit Command B, or Edit. Command B is paste in back. It pastes it right behind it. So we're going to put a white stroke on this, and you're not going to see it yet. And you're going to make the stroke, say 3 points, okay? And now we're going to, without clicking off the selection, hit Command C, Command B again, and we're going to now turn the stroke to about a 40% black or 30% black. And excuse me, I don't want that to be a stroke, I'm sorry, but flip this around by clicking that there and turn off the black stroke. I basically wanted that to be a gray fill, and all you're going to do now is you're going to nudge it over to the right, and you're going to see it's going to come out and appear. Basically what this is, and I'll show you what I did if this is confusing. This is 1, 2, 3 layers. So the first layer is just a fill of black. The second layer was that white stroke. It doesn't matter what the fill is, you're not going to see it anyway. And the importance of that white stroke, if we back up, is it separates the black from the gray. And that's the exact effect that I was going for in here. Now, the next thing you want to do is, now that you have that done, is I'm just going to sample my own gradient, is make a gradient of, red to dark red. And basically going to click in, now that these are separate elements, I have to select all these. Hold the shift button when you're selecting down multiple pieces, and eyedropper tool for me. You guys are gonna have to make that gradient on your own, and we're gonna fill that gradient, make the dark on the bottom, which looks much better. And now you have torque tools. Let's see something. All right. We're rolling on here. So the next thing you want to do is you want to make these little bars, and these bars are actually all separate elements. And I mean, I know I could do a white stroke behind here. Oh, you know what I just realized? I didn't do this gray on my actual finalized logo. This, they see the gray over here behind the T, but that's okay. It makes it look pretty cool. Changes it up a little bit. But we're going to come up into the rectangle tool, or M on your keyboard, and we're going to make a rectangle. Okay? And before I do that, this is called fine tuning. We're going to fix something. We're going to select everything, and we're going to right click and hit ungroup, and we're going to make sure everything is ungrouped, and we're going to select, so we don't get in the way because it's on an angle. We're going to select all these, and we're going to go to Command 2, lock it. Select all these and lock them. So no matter what, I can't select these black elements anymore until I unlock it. We're going to make these T's larger. So as we have them both selected, you're going to scale it up and hold the shift button as you do that. And you know what? I got to go a lot larger on these. Okay. Let's see. Is that good? Looks pretty good. Just want to be able to have those bars cut through there. And same deal. All right, so now that looks a lot better to me. Here's that rectangle that we made earlier. We are going to fill it with black. And we're basically going to, you know, it looks kind of stupid how it's like this. So basically what I did was I wanted it to contour to this angle right here. So we're going to do the same thing over here. And we're going to make them all equal distances. So whatever this looks like, you know, you don't, listen, you can argue with me all day on this, but I am not one for measuring every, like this doesn't have to be 100% perfect to this. You just got to train your eye, and you know, you don't want to be sitting there all day wasting your time trying to, you know, get the perfect distance on something, because it's never going to happen. And like I said, it's going to be a waste of time and you're going to get no work done. So, you know, kind of eye it up. And, you know, you can always fine tune it in the end, but, you know, sometimes you might have this great idea and then you're working on it and all of a sudden an hour goes by and you're like, shit, this doesn't even, it's not even going anywhere. So then you throw the idea out and you just wasted an hour. So don't fine tune things until the end. That's what I do in these logo design videos. So we'll take this down. And I'm just option click shifting. I'm copying these down and I'm using my direct selection, the white arrow, to click these points and shift everything over. And let's see. Always hold shift while you're doing it, because then you're going to lose some things. And last thing I want to show you, well, not last thing, but almost last thing, come into your pen tool. I don't like how this is, you know, I want this to look like this. It's getting cut out. So we're going to come up here and we're going to click and we're basically going to draw a shape over that line, that black rectangular line I made, or box, you could say. And we're going to cut out this shape from that. So basically, while you have this selected, hit shift and click that. Now you're going to subtract the front in your Pathfinder. And now it's just subtracted the front with your direct selection or A on the keyboard. Now you can mess around with your points again and fix them. And you have that nice shadow coming out here on the bottom of the Q, which is a really cool accent. I don't like this. I want to move this down a little bit. Move that down a little bit. Kind of just eye it up. I'll use my align tools later. Well, you know, you could use them later. And the last thing you want to do is let's do the tagline, which is hold caps lock down, or however you want to do it. The right tools for the right job. Hit escape. You tell I'm such a great copywriter, right? We're going to come till Helvetica. We're going to make it light. And we're going to come to about here with the word. And then we're going to jump into our character and go into our tracking. Tracking adds space after each letter. So you're going to have something happen like this. All right? You use tracking. Well, I use tracking a lot. I'm trying to fill a space. I got this, you know, this T. Let's see. I don't like these T's still. They're not long enough. I'm going to fudge that. I really don't like to stretch things, but I just stretched that out. But let's fix this point. Basically, I was saying is I like to use tracking when I want to fill a spot, and I don't want to have the letters too big. So they're still small. The letters, they're, you know, whatever they are, 18 points or whatever. And I know I am very, very zoomed into this canvas. So that's why, you know, you might have this at 9 point right now. It looks the same. But basically, yeah, that is the reason that I would use tracking on that. And I use tracking on a lot of my logos. It just makes it look a lot more neater. We can always fine tune things in here. If you see how we have this space right here, we can move all this in. We're going to fix that real quick just so you can see how I would do it. And not that my way is the greatest, but just how I work. And I would move everything over, all right? And then I close the gap. So basically all I have to do is hold shift while you're doing this and fix that just a little bit. Oops, I lost the Z. The Z got moved over. Scoot that over a little bit. You know, everything you do affects everything a lot of times, so things tend to shift. And that looks pretty pretty right on the Torque Tools logo.